Good morning, everyone. This is Kamera again. We're on day number 29, Exodus chapter 33 to Exodus 35. I have Aiden here with me today. Say hi, Aiden.
Hi.
Oh, you're so precious. All right. So last we read was the children of Israel. They decided they wanted to serve another God in place of God, that was the first commandment that God had said, have no other God before him. Moses had been gone for 40 days and 40 nights. They couldn't handle it. Aaron didn't hold it down. And I want you guys to notice, though, that even though Aaron was the one who led the people into disrespecting God, the children of Israel, individually, they were responsible for living to please God, to obeying the commandments. So you can't blame the leaders for not leading you correctly. They get their due, okay? But you are responsible for your own soul salvation. So it is important that you stick to what God says, that you follow his commandments, his precepts, and be obedient to him. So yeah, again, like my former pastor used to say, follow me as I follow Christ. And when I stop following Christ, then you stop following me. And so Moses is now. We find that he usually meets the Lord in the tent of meetings, and whenever the people have a problem, they would tell Moses they would meet at the tent of meetings. The tent of meetings is a tent that is set outside the camp, and when Moses appears, everybody watches him and watches the cloud as it hovers over the tent of meetings, and they notice when Moses go in, what happens, and when they see what God does, they worship or what have you. But in this case right here, Moses is now meeting God in the tent of meetings. God is upset. He doesn't like what the children of Israel did. He told Moses, he said, Moses, I'm not going to, you're leaving me, buddy? You're leaving me? That's that. Okay, he said, I'm not going to go with you guys because if, it's time for you guys to go on to that promised land. I promised Abraham, Isaac, Jacob that I was going to give you that promised land. I'm going to go ahead. You guys go ahead, but I'm not going with you guys. I'm going to drive out the inhabitants of it, but I'm not going with you guys. If I personally went with you guys, it would not sit well with you guys. I would definitely destroy you guys eventually because the people are so rebellious. And you guys, we like to bring God down to our level and say, well, he should understand. God understands way more than we can even imagine. I mean, we like to judge God, but we need to really look at the bigger picture. God created us for his pleasure. Those children of Israel, they promised that they were going to obey and serve God alone. And look what they do as soon as Moses leaves for 40 days and 40 nights. Really? And so God was like, I'm going to destroy these people. And so Moses is like, okay, if you leave us, if you don't take us personally, then I don't think we should. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave. And so I'm laughing at Aiden because he hears some coughing and he's going in the room saying, man, you okay? But anyway, back to Moses. And so, Moses is like, I don't want to leave if you're not going to go with us. And so, God is so good. God listens to everything. The Bible says that him and Moses talked one-on-one to each other. But we learn, guys, that even though, remember the children, the 70 and Aaron and all them who saw God, they saw God, but they didn't see his face. Moses had told God, he says, I want to know you better. I want to understand you fully and stay in your favor. So I need you to teach me who you are, basically. And so that is wonderful, guys. If you want to know how to please God, you have to ask him, Lord, how can I please you? What can I do to please you? And I asked God that question about him. I ask him, how do I love the person he want me to love? How do I treat the person he want me to treat a certain way? I go to him about those things because I want his perfect will done in my life. I'm not perfect. And I don't think I ever will be, not on this earth anyway. But I continually examine myself through God's eyes. And there are times I say, you know what, I'm just not with it. And we're human. But our biggest desire, it should be to please God. And Moses was basically saying, Lord, I want to know your way fully. I want to know you, understand you fully, so that I'll be able to please you, and continue to find, be in your grace and your favor. So, yeah, that's a wonderful thing to want. And so, but God says, yeah, I can, I'm fine with that, but you can't look on my face and live. No man can look on my face and live. So we find that Moses, even though him and God has this dialogue, you guys check out the dialogue between God and Moses in these scriptures. He says, no man cannot see my face and live. So even though him and Moses spent a lot of time together, and those other 70 saw God, they did not see his face. So, yeah, but he did show him more than he's shown other people. He showed Moses his glory. And as he was passing Moses, he made sure Moses didn't see his face, but he showed him his glory. And he called out to Moses, I am Yahweh. And so God tells Moses, okay, I hear you. I'll go ahead and be with you. But how about we go up to Mount Sinai again? You bring up those two more stones, and I'll write the commandments again. And God didn't even get mad at Moses for that tantrum. But we need to be aware of our tantrums, because our tantrums can cause us to get in trouble. Our anger can cause us to do some bad stuff. And we'll find in future scriptures that he did allow his frustration to cause him to make a bad choice that affected the outcome of his life. So Moses goes up to the mountain 40 days and 40 nights again. And he spent time with God, and God inscribes again on those tablets, 2 more tablets, the 10 commandments. And he tells Moses everything he told him before. He reminded him of the promises of what he's going to do, what he expects, and the festivals, the Sabbath. He is serious about that Sabbath day, that we should have that Sabbath day, that seventh day where we rest and refresh and make it holy. And so now Moses comes down from the mountain, and his face is all shone, all bright, all radiant, all bright. Children of Israel are like, whoa, this is some seriousness. And so Moses, when he comes down and talk to the children of Israel and the elders, he covers his head, his face, so that they won't see his face. But whenever he entered again into the presence of the Lord, he would remove his covering. Yeah, that's some seriousness. But they didn't act a fool again. They didn't do that foolishness anymore and start serving those other idols. And God tells them again, when you go into this promised land, do not worship those idols. Don't do what those people do. In fact, I want you to destroy those idols. Guys, we may not make those golden images and have these little statues that we worship, but we worship these created things in a whole different way. The time we spend with these things we put above God, before God, these things that we seem to adore so much above God. I mean, you have to examine yourself, but ask God to show you, because he can show you better. Sometimes we be stuck in our ways where we only want to see what we want to see, and no one can change our mind. But if we allow God to change our minds and show us our true selves, we'll be better off. And once he shows ourselves, it's not pretty. A lot of times it's not pretty. But God is so good that he wants us to want to please him. So if we ask him to help us with those issues, he is more than happy to help us. He loves us who we are, but there are some things that do need to be cleaned up to make us a better person. God is so faithful. He's so good. See him in these scriptures. And that was day number 29, Exodus chapter 33 and 35. Okay? You guys continue to read the word. Continue to know God, see God, and learn of God. Okay? Just like Moses said, to fully understand God, so that we'll be able to continue to find favor in Him, to live a life pleasing to Him. Okay? All right, you guys have a blessed day.